Hey everyone, it's August 25th, 2020. It's 5 o'clock p.m. and today we're taking you to the ball game. I'm at Yankee Stadium right now with my friend and native Bronx resident, Rich Mancuso here.
Well, Kenny, we're in my ballpark, in my area of specialty, baseball, except there's no baseball now going on
unfortunately,
with fans because of the pandemic. And good to be back with you. Thank you. Last time we toured the old neighborhood, and I want to thank all of your followers
thanks.
who now follow me. And I stand to be corrected on a few mistakes I made about Little Lily, Arthur Avenue, Fordham Road, but not many. I was right about most of them. I think the Hindenburg I might have got mixed up. But look, we're all bound to make a mistake or two. Overall,
we all make mistakes.
Everyone got a perspective of what it was about, and here we are now at Yankee Stadium, where, you know, this is weird. Not even though we don't know if the team would have been home tonight, this place would have been packed with people, 45,000 per game. You'd have your security people out here guiding traffic to get in, different gates. And it's sad to see this because we don't have fans going in the ballparks, even though the games are being played in Major League Baseball. And Yankee Stadium, the highest attendance is this new building, $2.3 billion facility, was opened in 2009. And they've had record number of fans come into this ballpark since then, every year.
Wow.
Which creates the revenue for the team, and or of course it's split along Major League Baseball, but gate receipts are a major part of Major League Baseball revenue. Television is one thing, but without no fans, there's no gate receipts, and that means a lot of people that work in this building are furloughed and have no job right now, and that goes everything from security personnel to the concession workers to front office personnel. It's all around. It's hit everyone, and it's sad.
It's so sad.
We hope by next spring, when they have the 2021 season, hopefully things will get back to normal, and then these people can get back to work. A lot of them live in this community in the Morrisania section here of the Bronx. A lot of them come from all over the city, suburbs to work here, and a lot of them look at 6 months of income working at Yankee Stadium. It almost turns out to be their full-time job, because baseball in a normal season is 162 games, and you get 82 of those games at your home ballpark. So that means a lot of revenue for the team and revenue for the people that are suffering from this pandemic because they don't have a job. And it's really sad. So we can only hope for the best and it gets better. But
I mean, this stadium alone must employ at least 1,000 people, right?
The capacity of this ballpark can seat 47,000 or more.
Wow.
Whereas across the street, where we'll go later, which is now a park for the community, used to hold upwards of 60,000 people for either baseball, football, or other events, including 2 papal visits by 2 popes, numerous concerts, high school graduation, you name it. A lot of that traditions continue here, but not as much as it was across the street, which we'll see in a little while. But yeah, that's 47,000 fans coming into one facility 82 times a year, and that's what the Yankees been averaging since 2009 as far as fan attendance. I mean, that's a lot of revenue, and that's seeing a lot of baseball, of course, a lot of popcorn, hot dogs, soda, peanuts, and the luxury suites, which are a major part of this ballpark, because most of the major league teams now, if not all, are going towards a luxury style, and that's one of the reasons why this stadium was built, because there's a lot of resentment about killing all the tradition that was across the street when they knocked down the old stadium and built this one. And the idea was to bring the history from across the street to here. And yeah, you can still have that history, but it's not the same. Everything about what goes on in this new ballpark, it's nothing like it was in the old ballpark across the street.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of controversy when they started to build this too.
Yeah, because it was a matter of taking away this park that we are now walking on. This was McComb's Dam Park. This was where we're walking. A lot of that was taking that away from this community that thrives on their parks and playgrounds, you know, for the community and the kids, of course. A lot of it was who was going to pay for this building. The Yankees kicked in so much. The city kicked in a lot under the old Giuliani administration. And then on top of that, you had what you were calling taxes, tax structures, and how that works. And New York City taxpayers paying for it. And I understand some of it has been paid by New York City taxpayers. I don't know the exact price. I can only fill you in when you just talk about the controversy. And there was a lot of it. But most of it was, why tear down that old ballpark across the street and build this Cathedral in the Bronx, as they call it. But that's what the late George Steinbrenner, the owner, wanted. And he made a deal. And really, they didn't have to knock the old ballpark down. The old ballpark had some structural issues. But you can't get rid of that history like that. And two stadiums in Major League Baseball didn't do that. Instead, they did some renovations. Wrigley Field in Chicago, Fenway Park in Boston, two of the oldest ballparks in the country in Major League Baseball. And they didn't go that route. They preserved the tradition. And that's where the controversy was more than anything else. Yankee fans were irate, a lot of them. You can't knock down that history. It's still here, but it's not like it was.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't the only one in New York. New York's got another baseball team, and that stadium went up. And
well, Citi Field, which is in proximity, maybe 12 miles from here, and of course we're getting the Bronx noise again.
Yeah.
Citi Field was a different story. That was more built by the city kicked in, but the Wilpon family and their real estate empire helped build it. And the old Shea Stadium needed to be either rebuilt extensively or a new ballpark, as it is Citi Field. And that's what they did. They just started from scratch, built a new ballpark, which was needed, because Shea Stadium had a lot of leaks. And I can tell you, when I covered games there in the press box, you'd have to put your umbrella up because the stadium would leak.
Wow.
It would leak.
That's so bad.
You didn't have that here at Yankee Stadium. What you had was, as old as that building was, from 1923, and was renovated once or twice, you never had issues like that, structural issues. But, you know, it's sad. I'm walking around here now with you, Kenny, and I'm looking at the architecture on this building. That's the first thing I noticed for the first time I came here, because I watched them build this place. The marble itself is worth a lot of money. That's why they call this the Cathedral of the Bronx.
I know, it costs billions of dollars to build this.
This is a suite entrance. This is special with fans. This entrance come into and that's the lobby, where it says check-in, and right next to it, where you would, where VIP people and other people, families of players, that's where they would enter. They enter right there in the lobby, where there's a statue of George Steinbrenner erected right in that lobby. And this is where the loading dock of the players come through here and out of here. And not only did he have the Yankees playing here, but you have the MLS Professional Soccer League, the New York team NYCFC also plays here. They have about 16 home dates, and of course, because of the pandemic, they're not playing here as well right now. But
and here's the car parking.
Plenty of them. You got, the one thing is you have more than one parking garage. Here's one of them, and many others around the whole stadium vicinity. A lot of money to park a car if you come to a game here. I mean, it's like $35, $40 to park your car.
Oh yeah, I see it. Up to 24 hours, it's $32.
And the revenue for that goes through a different company altogether. The Yankees take a take of that, of course. But yeah, that's an issue. The parking, the merchandise, the concessions, and we're in the back end of it with another park across the street.
Oh, this isn't McComb's Dam
right,
anymore.
Right. This park, of course, they wanted to make a parking lot, but the community fought it. And so they have this park as well, but it's still not like it was where the old stadium is. It's become a park. You can see how extensive and large this garage is.
I know, it's
You know?
huge. There's 4 levels on this thing.
Yeah.
Plus the roof.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough during the game and can find a free spot on the street like here, you got to get here real early. Figure this. A family 4 comes here, parent, couple of kids, parking, tickets, concessions, might be spending over $500-600 for a game.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
When I grew up as a kid, across the street at the old Yankee Stadium, I mean, you're talking not spending more than $5-6 for a ball game. Maybe less if you sat in the bleachers for a quarter.
Wow.
So,
And you're not even allowed to bring food inside.
no.
They check you really thoroughly.
Yeah, well, you can bring certain items. You can't, certain bottles are not allowed. You could package some quick sandwiches in a bag. They won't take that from you. But they want you to spend money in this building.
Of course.
And it costs a lot of money to eat here.
Yeah, I mean, how much is a hot dog here? Probably at least like $8.
Over
right?
$6.
Wow.
And it isn't that big either. It wasn't like the Gorman's Frank we talked about last week on Fordham Road when I grew up. So it's part of the times, Ken,
That's it.
you know? But this garage can also be used by the community because just in walking distance up the block is the Bronx County Courthouse. And there's a lot of businesses in the district that are allowed to use this. But not
I
as
hope they get a discount on the parking.
Yeah, they should. They should. I know we as the media don't get a discount if we park here.
That's too bad.
That's why I never take a car here. I'm on that 4 train, or the D train, which are the 2 major subways that get here. And there's numerous bus lines, including the number 6 off Hunts Point.
Yeah, it's the best way to come here.
Yeah, you can't beat that. And you avoid the traffic, and you save money. And my editors never pay for my parking, no more they don't, so
Yeah.
that's it.
In fact, here comes a train now.
Yep. That's the 4. Another parking garage a lot across the street.
Yeah.
Another garage right here. And you can see how wide that garage is.
Seems like this garage is just as wide as the stadium. Pretty much.
And these are some of the entrances for employees to go through. Players usually get parked right here, in there. And they come out of this loading dock area. The old ballpark, the players used to go across the street to the parking lot so fans could see them and get an autograph. Can't do that no more. That's how much it's changed.
That's too bad. How many autographs have you gotten?
I can't tell you. I don't remember.
Really? Wow.
I have an extension, not as a media member because you're not allowed to do that.
Whoa.
Well, I was growing up as a fan. I had quite a few. And here's the back end of the stadium here. And if you're on the 4 train, constructed like the old stadium, you're able to see a little bit of the stadium on the train. And there's the back end of it. Of course, the gates are all closed. But you can pan in here. This is the outfield area entrance for most people, and some suites. Go up those stairs and you're in.
That's it. The VIP entrance.
And it's just so I'm so heartbroken. I'm not a Yankee fan, by the way. I live in the Bronx. I think I told everyone that on your channel. I'm a Met fan, so I love Citi Field, and I think it's a prettier ballpark too. And not just a Met fan, Yankee fans will say that. Legends Hospitality runs the concessions for the Yankees. They also do for the Dallas Cowboys football team and numerous other sports teams around professional sports. $1 billion company. This is where the employees go in, and all those employees now on furlough. This is their entrance to come in and out.
Here's the ticket.
Some ticket booths. These are generally not for the fans. These are like special windows.
Well, look up there. There's some merchandise.
Yeah, some of their bobbleheads that I have at home. Yeah, because the giveaways are the Yankees are very good with fans giving giveaways at games. Bobblehead collections are a big part of it. And again, throughout the whole structure, Kenny, you could look at this marble. This is built strong and expensive.
It's a fortress, this stadium.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Cathedral in the Bronx. And I don't know how much this costs, the marble itself, but I could tell you, being around other major league ballparks, I don't see this anywhere else.
It's crazy.
And all the new ballparks that have been constructed, I don't see that. So they had the money to do it, they did it, and they built the palace. Of course, police enforcement at every ballpark, every ball game. They have a special entrance.
Yeah.
And on game night, not only do you see the NY banner, but they have this all decorated with nice banners of every player as you walk along the straight here.
And Rivera. Oh,
yeah,
it's a little bit faded.
There's one here,
well.
the Hall of Famer, the all-time saves leader in baseball. And he's part of the Yankee core that won 4 straight world championships, including Bernie Williams, Burn Baby Burn, who's a postseason leader in hits. Nobody like Bernie Williams or that guy, Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly, it tells you what years, 1982 to 95. Now the manager of the Miami Marlins. He's all Yankee. He still is, always will be. And Yankee fans will tell you that's one of their favorites. All of them are, but that one. And here's the one that makes every Yankee fan sad. The tragic death of Thurman Munson in a helicopter.
Wow.
His career got cut short. In the old stadium, they had a tribute, a memorial for him before a game. And Thurman Munson was the original, one of the original Yankee captains. And really his potential was not shown because his career got cut short with the tragic plane accident in Ohio, because he used to navigate planes. And he'd do that. He'd leave the Bronx sometimes, get a day off, get on a plane and go home and come back. He got special permission to do that. Elston Howard, a Yankee in the elite years that were very lean, where the Yankees weren't winning. I grew up watching him in the bleachers, the bleacher area, which we'll pass by when we cross the street where the bleachers used to be. Elston Howard, and right next to him, in this ballpark, they have a Yankee museum with the whole history of the team and monuments and plaques. It's inside the ballpark. The fans have access to that. Mickey Mantle.
Wow.
Everyone knows who he was.
I even know who he was, and I don't even follow
Him and
this
Roger
crap.
Maris were New York Yankees, and they played during the lean years, but Mickey Mantle had across the street the longest home run hit in Yankee Stadium history. Whitey Ford, Hall of Famer. They're all in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Whitey Ford, great pitcher. He could not get a hit off that guy. And the great catcher, Yogi Berra, an icon who managed the Yankees and the Mets. One of the few that did that. Hall of Fame catcher. You couldn't get a ball past him. He was tough, small but tough. And we're going to see this. I'm glad we passed Lou Gehrig, because when we go across the street, we're going to go to his famous speech in 1939.
Wow, nice.
Those are the years when they played. 1939, he retired. He made a retirement speech across the street that still, everyone's around that era, that's around that they will remember it. And in history, said it was the greatest day of his life. Lou Gehrig was known as the Iron Horse, and we're going to go to the old spot in the park across the street where he made that speech, where it was, which is now a baseball diamond now. And they fill it up. Number 4. The Yankees have the most retired numbers, uniform numbers retired in baseball. And there's the icon of an icon, Mr. Baseball Babe Ruth, the Babe. Of course, he was a Boston Red Sox and became the most ludicrous trade in baseball history.
Yeah. That's why there's the whole rivalry behind it.
Yeah, that's right.
Boston
See, you
Red
know
Sox
baseball,
and
Kenny, see?
Well, that I know.
And Babe Ruth, of course, the all-time home run leader till Hank Aaron broke it, was the Atlanta Brave. And the Babe was,
But I gotta believe you.
the Babe was something else, especially in the Bronx. See this McDonald's across the street? Some of the people that have been around the Yankees a long time, including one of their old bat boys, who's still part of the organization, he'd go across the street here out of the clubhouse because Thurman Munson, who we just talked about, used to tell him, hey, go get me a couple of burgers. The McDonald's was here then.
Wow.
And that's what he would do, get burgers out of there and bring them back to the clubhouse for Thurman Munson. And that McDonald's does a lot of business on game days and nights.
Oh, I can imagine.
It really does a lot of business. A lot of people will eat out here before going in there because in here, it's expensive. So, we've walked around. We're on 161st Street, which is River Avenue, home of the stadium. And here's an example of what the old Yankee Stadium didn't have. Teen store right here, open all year round except now. And the Hard Rock Cafe and New York Steakhouse. Best steak you can get is in there. It's expensive. And the Hard Rock Cafe. Both closed, open all year round. Pandemic, closed. Game nights, packed. And right now, if there was a game going on, me and you wouldn't be able to stand here. There'd be one person after another coming this way, that way, and every way to get to the ballpark and inside. And this whole street would be blocked off of traffic, so people could cross and then go to the establishments on River Avenue here, including Stan's Sports Bar, which is a legendary place, and Billy's is another one. And the different merchandise stores right there across the street. And we could see that when we walk right down here, where the old ballpark was, which is McCombs Dam Park and Legends Field, right across the street.
All right, so we'll go take a look at that. I mean, I've been here on game days, and I see how crowded this area
so
is.
you know, yeah.
They close off this whole entire area.
Yeah.
All the streets.
Yeah, and every time I come here, I remember coming here as a kid and watching Yankee games as a kid, and I go to the bleach area, which is right across the street where it was, and sometimes we would sneak in for free. You know, we didn't have the money, we wanted to watch the game, and we'd wait till the guard wasn't around, and we'd sneak right in and watch a whole game of baseball in the day, sometimes into the night. And nobody chased us out because they didn't look for a ticket in the bleachers, only when you were in the other stands if you sat in somebody's seat that was reserved. And the area wasn't this noisy, obviously. We're talking 60s, 70s, and then the big boom, everything in the 80s it all started. But you have access to the 4 train to get here, the D train. Anybody visiting New York wants to come here, they can get here very easily.
Hey, look, there's already 2 buses here.
There you go.
And there's even more buses over there.
Yep. That's the 6 bus. That's comes from Washington Heights, goes into Hunts Point. One of the great views you always had in the old Yankee Stadium was that Bronx County Courthouse, the big building. And if you watched on TV, you would always see it in the background, center field. Bronx County Courthouse, which is the oldest courthouses in the country.
I think we can go now.
And now we cross the street, and we're on the spot of what used to be the original Yankee Stadium, built in 1923 for $1.3 million. Let's go here, Ken. And of course, the team before that played what was called Highlander Park, a few miles down, or Hilltop Park, and the team was known, before they became the Yankees, they were known as the Highlanders.
Oh, wow.
And then they changed their name when they moved here. This is the old Yankee Stadium, part of it, beginning. McCombs Dam Park is what they called it, carried off from across the street. And you see the legends here, the directory of where you are, and you know, everywhere here. In fact, across the street in the new park, the plaza, it's called Babe Ruth Plaza, where the stairs are across the street to get into some of the gates. It's called, and there's a little statue of Babe Ruth on the wall. It's called Babe Ruth Plaza, named, you know, after the Yankee legend, the icon, right there across the street by the stairs. But that was McCombs Dam Park, where this Cathedral in the Bronx now is across the street.
Yeah. And now they just switched places.
Yeah, well, they knocked down the history for this. And the facade is similar to what they kept in the news park across the street. The stadium facade right here. That'd be on the top of the stadium by the light stanchions. And that's one of the original facades of the old Yankee Stadium they brought here to the park. So it's really, it's historic. This park's historic. And that's the bleacher area I was talking about. That's no longer here.
Uh-huh.
And you can see that coming off the train as well, the bleachers. First thing you saw was the bleachers when you were on that train, Ford train. McCombs Dam Park, the old Yankee Stadium, the facade, and they built it. They built a nice park where all the Yankee history was. So they erected some ball fields, and they have a nice running track and football field above that, and we'll walk around that as well. You know, when you look over here and you look out in the horizon and you see this field, which is called Legends Field, by the way, and you realize where all that history was right here. Not only history in the Bronx, but history of the Yankees and Major League Baseball history played right here.
Wow.
Torn down. So a lot of people came, saw them tear down the old stadium, and knew there was something new coming across the street, but also knew a lot of the history was going away. Because you couldn't carry what you had here into there.
No way.
It's not the same. Where that looks like a smokestack, but a big baseball bat in the back.
I
see that?
Yeah.
That was the main entrance to the stadium, where home plate was, where you went in, media, parking lot, and that was becoming the destination for people to meet.
Wow.
When they had to meet and get out of their car or wherever they came. Meet me by the big bat. And that's what it was. So that's like a destination. They kept that up.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Is that the only thing left from the old stadium that they left here?
and the facade.
And this?
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
The
Wow.
facade, some of the facade, and the smokestack. But if you are a baseball fan and know a little bit about the history of the Yankees, they do tours here in this park. There is someone, Bronx history, will come and show you where certain things were done for historic moments that occurred, like a Babe Ruth home run, the Lou Gehrig speech, which I'll show you where that was done, and milestone home runs, base runners that stole records. This was all here. This was all a part. The bleachers and going into the right field area way above. And we're actually looking at where the stadium was and the playing field is now a park. And you have to imagine to relive the history when you walk here. And tell you the truth, Ken, again, I'm not a Yankee fan, but I was in the old ballpark growing up, and even later on as a journalist. And I don't walk around here much because I can't see the history go away the way it went away. Because this was the place where Major League Baseball was a milestone after milestone. It was here, Yankee Stadium, the old park. Moved into the new, but not the same. I'll say that again and again. $1.3 million to $2.3 billion across the street. How about that? Right?
$2 billion more.
But you know,
why not?
Look, the park is not. It's a nice park, and they maintain it very well. That was the whole bleacher area back there. Right field, left field. And what really everyone knows the Yankees and the history will remember, center field back there, this whole area, was the largest center field playing field in Major League Baseball. And they had monuments out there, and you couldn't, to hit a home run that far in Yankee Stadium, you had to be really good. It was the deepest center field alley, as they call it.
There's a nice little playground here.
Yeah, they have a nice playground.
It's called the Heritage Field.
Yep.
Playground. Good name for it.
And if we could get on the field, I'll take you to the spot. I see they're playing ball there right now, but on that diamond where these young people are, in the middle right there was second base at the old Yankee Stadium. And that's where Lou Gehrig made that speech in 1939. Today, I am the luckiest man in the world. He retired young because he came down with a disease which now they've diagnosed as Alzheimer's.
Wow.
And he couldn't play on. And he was known as the Iron Horse. His famous retirement speech, which goes down in Yankee history, if not Major League Baseball history, 1939 of July, right there at second base. And a lot of people go out there and when they're not playing ball on there. And we don't want to disrupt the kids, take their time away.
Yeah.
They come there and they visit that, and then they look and they stand and look across the street and know that it's not there, it was here. So they refer to Yankee Stadium. You really should say the old Yankee Stadium. You should say, welcome to the new Yankee Stadium, because you can't, again, take the history away from what was over here to there across the street. You can't do it. It's not the same. Even the sound in the new ballpark isn't the same. They opened it up in 2009, the Yankees won a world championship. It was so apropos that they did that. They had a good team. You know?
What about the old park? How was the old park like? Was it nicer than this? Or?
I'll tell you, when it was loud, it was loud.
Hmm.
It shook. The noise, the dimensions were larger than across the street, but the noise seemed to be louder here than across the street. Don't get me wrong, 47,000 fans or more at Yankee Stadium, rabid fans, make a lot of noise, and it's loud. But when you had 57,000, close to 60 here,
Oh man,
it was loud. And the stadium shook. I mean, other than that press box, are we getting wet a little bit?
yeah, you're getting wet from
Other
the
than that
spring.
press box a few times, and it shook. It shook during the playoffs. But yeah, that's where Lou Gehrig made his speech, right there in the middle. That was second base, right there. And I wasn't around then, of course. It was way before my time, but you hear the old timers talk about it. You look at the highlights, the history. Yeah, the transformation and what occurred. And you're walking right now, Kenny, in history. That's what you're doing. You're walking around history right now. And I bet if you ask these kids playing on this field right now, they wouldn't even know.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. They don't know where their feet are right now and what happened where they're standing and playing right now. They wouldn't know. But this was the diamond. This was the beginning of the ballpark, home plate.
Yep.
And if you want to know how big the old Yankee Stadium was dimension-wise with the field, there it is. You could see how large that was. Miles and miles.
Here's the baseball bat.
Yeah.
With the Metro
There's the
North
bat.
Station.
Yeah, they built the Metro North extension to come in. That's the bat they kept.
Except now this station's not convenient anymore to get to the stadium
No.
compared to the subway.
But that's primarily used for people coming in from Westchester County, Putnam County, the suburbs. And it's a link. Metro North comes right here. Very crowded during game day. And people in the area that go to work will use this.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, Kenny, what another parking garage.
Oh wow.
And
Was that here before the
No.
stadium? Or?
none of this. What we're standing at now, that's where people met. Fans used to meet under there. And if I get this right from there across the street here was the old parking lot for the players. It's all renovated and different, but they would come across this, they come out of the ballpark, out of the press gate entrance, climb up the stairs. Fans would be lined up over here in this area, vicinity, go across the street to the parking lot, because the executive offices of the stadium would be right in this area as well. And they would see the players. They'd line up and see the players, and the players would stop and give an autograph, which you don't do like that, like it is no more. But
There's another garage here too.
there's so many
Wow.
of them. Yeah, that's the Rupa Plaza garage, and that's one of the main ones and it's huge, where they ask me to park for $45, $50. Yeah. So, but that's the famous bat.
Yep.
All constructed. And I think it took about 3 or 4 years to build the Cathedral in the Bronx, as they call it, in the distance there. So,
Incredible.
and they did a good job renovating the park, but I'm walking here and I'm seeing the way it was here. How it was here.
How was the old McCombs Dam Park? Was it Nice.
They didn't maintain it, like
Oh.
as much good as this one, as what they did here, and I got to say that Parks Department did not maintain it that well, but there was a huge track and field, which is up here now, and everyone used that track. People in the community, high school teams, college teams, you know, track and field, they would use that track. We'll walk up to that park too. But it wasn't maintained like this is. They didn't maintain it well enough. It became run down. And I remember walking out of the old stadium when they started erecting the new one and started to see the facade, the beginnings of all the construction going on in the front. Because they started to build the stadium, the structure, the first one right there, where it says Yankee Stadium, up there in the front. I remember them building that first and putting the sign up later on. And then you saw it evolve little by little. You heard the drills. It's an incredible thing to see a structure like that starting to get built. And I watched that getting built because I was here a lot. You know? Same thing at Citi Field. You'd be covering the game there in a press box at Old Shea Stadium in Flushing, and then you just looking across and you see right next door the new home of the Mets, Citi Field, being built rapidly, right in front of your eyes. It's an incredible thing to see how they put a new stadium together.
Oh yeah.
All that money.
And then I even saw online how they took the old place down.
Yeah, and then I was there
crazy.
too. I came here a few times when they started destroying the old Yankee Stadium.
That must have been so heartbreaking.
It was.
To see it
And
destroyed.
again, I'm not a Yankee fan, but it was just the history of the ballpark. And I said the same thing at Shea Stadium. When they tore down that iconic scoreboard at Shea Stadium in Flushing, that was one of the first things that went down. I had tears in my eyes. And then they tore this down, that down. And the last part of the old stadium that was torn down was right there in this vicinity to the right. They took up the upper deck of one section left, that was it. That was the official end. Tore it down. And there were a lot of people here watching it because it's just like, wow, you know, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. But look out here, you think Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford. I mean, it goes on and on and on. The Yankee icons, Thurman Munson, as we mentioned. You know, you can keep going. World Series championships, a record number of them. World Series games being played here. Two papal masses, concerts, football games too. This was the home of the old and the New York Giants. This was their home.
Oh wow!
And then they would have 65,000 in there. The NFL, the Giants, this was their home ballpark for years. And so you had the famous sneaker game here years ago. That was the Giants and I think it was the Cleveland Browns. I got to check my historian again. I should know that. Again, I'm drawing a blank. But that was a sneaker game where with the stadium, the turf was not conducive to the players. What they were wearing sneakers. They had to borrow cleats to get a grip, a grasp on the field, on the turf that was torn up because of bad weather. So what they did is, before the game, they got a whole batch of the cleats or sneakers from Manhattan College, which is like 20 minutes from here up the Deegan Expressway. And they got them there in time to play the game. That's why it was called the famous sneaker game at Yankee Stadium. The Giants, the first televised football game in NFL history here, Yankee Stadium. You know, and of course, 2 years ago, you had Yankee Stadium and the Polo Grounds across the street in Manhattan over the bridge, Macomb Bridge. The Polo Grounds was home of the old New York Giants baseball team that moved to San Francisco in 1957 with the Dodgers. So
there's still controversy with the Giants. And the Jets,
the O'Malley started it with the Dodgers in Brooklyn, Ebbets Field, and then they moved it. So
the stadium's not even in New York.
No. No, the football teams don't play in New York, the Giants and Jets, which I always will say that history's gone. They're not New York teams to me. They play in Jersey.
That's true.
But we're walking up these stairs, which part of the old Yankee Stadium area. And this is Heritage Field, Heritage Park. And there's the track and field. And the football in the stadium they built is a trade-off. The old McCombs Dam Park here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spacious and nice, well-maintained. And there you go. They're facing the new ballpark right there, too. You hear a lot of these young people and athletes that train here, that come here from all the Bronx and all over. Great place to train because they get motivated when they see that building. And it is a great view. It is a great view.
That's the view they use all the time on TV.
Yeah, yep. Yep. That's the Cathedral of the Bronx. $2.3 billion. And the Yankees get a lot of negative feedback that they don't do enough for the community. Now, they might be able to do a little more. They do their share. They do have grants that community organizations can apply for. And they fair share it for those in need. And they do contribute a lot. And I will not knock them for this. They do that. But what they do is they don't publicize it. They should publicize it to give them a better image. But I think they have a reason for doing that. They don't want to get it out that they're giving away money here, but they do their share. I can't complain what the Yankees do for the community. They do a lot. This is named after Joseph Yancey Track and Field. I don't know who he was, because I never really come up here, but I'm sure it was somebody had something to do with this. Somebody out there might know and can look it up, or we can look it up now, but I always look at this as Legends Field. McCombs Dam Park, the new one. And they did a good job here. No complaints. If you live in the community, you got a beautiful park. Play football here, track and field events.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Joseph Yancey, he founded the New York Pioneer Track and Field Club.
There you go. I had to do something with that.
Yeah. I knew it had
Thank
to be
goodness
something
for
with
Google.
that. That's it. It's born in Harlem.
Which is only really Upper Manhattan, is across the street.
Yeah,
Take
just
the
cross the bridge and you're in Harlem,
McCombs
pretty much.
Dam Bridge, where you have the old Polo Grounds, which is now a housing complex. That's where the New York Giants baseball team played while moving to San Francisco. That was a lot of history going down there too, the Polo Grounds. That was the first stadium where the Mets played when they became a team in 1962, the Polo Grounds. And then they got their own park in 1964 in Flushing Shea Stadium, which no longer exists. Citi Field, which is a beautiful ballpark. And again, Citi Field compared to Yankee Stadium, complete different scenery. A lot of fans, Yankee fans will say when they go to Citi Field, they rather be at Citi Field than here. Cheaper too. There's a big difference. Things are much cheaper there. And so this weekend, with no fans, we'll have the Subway Series. We'll have 2 double headers. Yankees Mets, because the Mets were hiatus for a few days with COVID. So they're gonna make up the games and they're gonna play them all here. And at night, it's a beautiful view. This is all in blue. The Great Hall, they call it. See the windows?
Oh yeah, you can see through it now.
It's called the Great Hall. and you walk through that great hall to get to your seat.
Well, this is probably what splashed us earlier.
Yeah, this is a little disappointing that they don't have a little control here, whatever it is. Oh, is that a sprinkler, I guess?
It is. Waste of water. Look at this. This is so bad. They should put.
Yeah, they don't have a good
recycle the
drainage.
water, right?
Obviously, not a good drainage system here. So,
You wanna go down there,
Yeah,
or?
we can go down again.
We can go across the street to the Babe Ruth Plaza, right?
Yep. Better view of the Bronx County Courthouse
Yeah.
that everybody used to see that on TV at the old Yankee Stadium.
Now, my complaint here is, what happens if someone's elderly or can't climb these stairs? They're wheelchairs. Is there an elevator anywhere?
They have access coming out of the garages. See, people coming here aren't going to start up here on these stairs. They'll come out of the parking garages or from the Metro North station and just make the walk. But there's plenty of accessible for people that can't walk right. They have that. This all comes from here. That's where the pedestrian traffic will come from. A lot of the parking garages on game day and night, and also from the Metro North station. And they'll come here, and the traffic won't be flowing like this. There'll be NYPD directing pedestrian traffic to go right across the street to where we're going now, Babe Ruth Plaza. And you would see the flags atop the poles of the roof for every team in the American League that the Yankees play. And obviously there's no ball game. They'll have flags up there this weekend, no fans or not, because they have home games against the Mets this starting Friday night. 2 double headers.
Yeah.
It's just not the same, Kenny, with no fans.
I know. That was one of the regrets I didn't do. I was thinking of getting a ticket to get into Yankee Stadium and then just filming around the whole stadium.
We go back to normal next year, hopefully. You'll get it from me.
Yeah.
You'll have a nice seat by the Delta Club. You can eat all you want, and you also have a panoramic view of the whole place.
Oh, awesome.
So hopefully next year, next spring, they let fans back in. You'll enjoy that. I'm looking forward to it. I miss this routine. I normally cover about 100, maybe 105, 110 games a year between the Yankees and Mets during the summer. For 6 months, you can't find Rich Mancuso. You're either going to go to Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, or another ballpark around the country. And I miss that. I don't have that this year. I could have went, again, I think I said this before, we could sit in the press box for 2.5 hours with a mask on, windows open. All the interviews are done on Zoom, conference calls. It wasn't worth it, so I opted out. So, you know what, make my living room my press box for the limited stuff I'm doing with baseball and that. But it's not the same. It's not the same, because if this was game night now, and it probably would have been 6 o'clock, I'm in the dining room, press dining room, eating dinner before the first pitch at 7
It's
p.m.
like taking this forever. I don't think it does anything, but...
Yeah, I think we missed it, but during game day and night, it's the NYPD directs traffic going across. Because you have, I don't know, a swarm of people just coming this way to go in.
Oh wow, he's coming this way.
But I think we missed the.
There he must have.
Yeah, because I keep yakking up a storm.
Better safe than sorry.
As your followers
That's what it
say, I can talk and keep talking, so that's what I'm doing. But to know all the history, I do the best I can. There are people that know more than me. I'm going just on what I know from recollection, from what I know. But I'm sure there's a lot of facts again that I've missed. I think I got them all right.
Yeah.
If I don't, then I shouldn't be covering baseball as far as the history. Because right now, again, I'm looking at this ballpark and I just see people that live in the community walking around. But if this was game night, Kenny, we'd be walking with thousands of others right now.
And again, I just feel sorry for all these people who are
out of work
because of the stadium.
That's the saddest part. Babe Ruth Plaza. This is usually how I go. I come across here and go up these stairs to the press gate.
All right. Why don't we do that and we'll end the video there.
Sure.
Well, let's
This Babe
go
Ruth
here
Plaza.
first and
Yes,
show
that
this.
little memento about the Babe.
I wonder what Babe Ruth would think of this new stadium.
I'll tell you, he would have hit probably 200 homers a year because this ballpark, the ball flies out. It was made for the Yankees. They made it the way it's set up, the dimensions, the winds, record number of home runs in a year. And this Subway Series this weekend, even though no fans are coming in, the Yankees have the home games, which I don't think is fair. The Yankees will have the home field advantage all the time. They're going to hit a record number of home runs. They're a home run hitting team. They are every year. This ballpark sets a record number of home runs every year. In fact, last year, Yankees hit over 300 home runs, which was second to the Twins in baseball.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of home runs for a
That's so
season.
much.
A majority of them were hit here. So Babe Ruth, who had the record, all-time home run record before Hank Aaron broke it, Babe Ruth hit 700 some odd home runs in his career, most of them at Yankee Stadium. I wonder how many he would have hit here if he was in this era. And the press gate is where we started.
Here's the accessible entrance over here.
Yeah. That's the Great Hall. See, down here is the Great Hall. This whole area, it's like...
Let me see if I can peek in.
Yeah,
there.
you can, yeah.
We may not be able to get in, but we can try.
No, you can't. But you could see.
Put the camera right up
It's
there.
one of the major team stores. Up those stairs will get you into the 200 level, even my press area.
Oh, you can even see inside the
Yeah,
park there with the
there's
bleachers.
some of the ballpark. And right now, the Yankees are playing the Braves in Atlanta. The broadcasters for the Yankees, and because the broadcasters are not going on the road with the teams because of safety protocols, they're broadcasting the game off monitors up in the press box area now. The radio and TV guys. Yep. Silence.
That's it.
Sad. And not because of a labor strike, which Major League Baseball is going to see next year, which could close the game down, and not next year, the year after. There's going to be a strike. Labor unrest in sports. The billion-dollar industry. And it's not because of the players. I fault the owners. And this is the route I would take when I come here. And I look at this structure, and I end up going through the press gate to get inside.
Here we go. We can buy imaginary tickets right now. Ticket office, 9 to 5.
Yeah, this is the VIP window. You have players leave you tickets, you come here. Corporations, some of them are on here in this row. And here's where I go in.
The press gate. I guess we'll end the video here.
And there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Nobody home. But that's where I'd go in. Go through the security scan. They hit your pass that you have already, and then you go through those doors and you make a right to the elevator and you go upstairs and you're all set. And when a famous Yankee legend passes away, or if there's some major Yankee icon, whatever, Yankees, every fan comes here. They lay wreaths on the NY logo. You know, it's just part of their tradition and what they do here. And one thing you notice, if you notice, Kenny, what do you notice? It's immaculate here, isn't it?
It is. It's so
They
clean
maintain the outside every day, and immediately at the game and the fans are home, they wipe and scrub. They have cleaners all over this place to make sure it stays this way. So, you know, the Yankees as an organization know what they're doing and proudly stayed in the Bronx, where there were all types of rumors before 2009 when the place opened, when they were going to erect a new stadium. It wasn't going to be here in the Bronx. They wanted to go corporate luxury route. That's what they did, as most major league teams have done. They've been very successful at it. They are the richest sports franchise in baseball. Maybe the Los Angeles Dodgers might equal that. However, what they did here, starting in 2009, is what they wanted. They got their goal. The ballpark plays to their advantage. They win a lot of games here, but most of all, they make a lot of money here. This place is a gold mine for them, and the fans still come, no matter how expensive it is. It's a different type of fan, different generation. They come. They enjoy it day or the night. And sometimes the game might be in the 7th inning. Fans are still coming in because either they got lost or they start a late start. And they'll just come in. They got their ticket the last minute. They come in, watch 2 innings. At least they came to Yankee Stadium. That's what they wanted to see. This is a New York landmark. So much the old, but now the new. The thing is, I've been saying throughout the hour, Kenny, the history can't be replaced, but was across the street, which you have here now. But it is Yankee Stadium, and you know, it's a part of Bronx history. Big part of New York City history, Major League Baseball, but the Bronx as well. And I'm glad you enjoyed the little tour.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rich, for doing this tour of Yankee Stadium as well as the old Yankee Stadium area. But
yeah, we're gonna do more. We're gonna go back to the old neighborhood soon again, finish that up, and do more in the Bronx. And again, I appreciate all of your followers coming to me and giving me a little boost. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm at ⁴ on Facebook, Twitter at ⁴ Instagram Mancuso786. Welcome, come aboard. And I'll be with Kenny more again and again.
All right.
I enjoy doing this. Keep it in the ring, everyone.
Fun.
Stay safe.
All right, everyone. Take care. Don't strike out. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Closing doors.